Hello and welcome into our week 6 team builder for the NPA. Koko Pup's going up against the Southampton Sharpedos this week. It's an interesting team. There's a lot of classic coring that I'm seeing going on here, and it's pretty strong. To be honest, it's pretty strong. We've got some Firewater Grass, we've got some Dragonsteel Fairy. And then some complications thrown in there as well. So let's go ahead and look at what they have. Southampton has Garchomp, Togekiss. Gross. Who we got? Alolan Marowak, Ambipom. I wanted Ambipom. I'm gonna be honest. Like once Megalopen got taken, I kind of wanted Ambipom, but hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. The Skuntank, there's Rotom Frost, Rotom Freezer, Freeze, keeping it chill. Mega Scizor, we're going to talk about Mega Scizor in a bit. Slowbro, a little bit of a problem. Heliolisk, Floatzel, and that starter that I can never remember. That I can never remember the name of. Chestnut. So, I remembered. Hot dang. So, the first thing I noticed with this team is that Pidgeot puts in a lot of work. Between Hurricane and Heatwave alone, it does a lot. So, we're definitely bringing Pidgeot. The team's going to look pretty similar to last week, actually. Not moves and spreads, but just within the 6. They're definitely the 6 I'm most comfortable with, but I want to, like, win or lose, whether it's a good idea or not. I think in the future weeks I'm going to start branching out into more creative, I guess, play, rather than, building around the mons that I'm most comfortable with. I'm trying to get a little more creative with some of the other stuff we drafted, like Murkrow. Anyway, that's not a guarantee, but it is a priority. So Pidgeot does a lot of work. We got Hurricane, Heatwave, Hidden Power Ice, and Defog. Didn't really see a need for U-Turn, given that, U-Turn wouldn't do that much damage anyway. And as you can see over there, over that way, the opposite of me, that we have grassy terrain, so like the damage that U-Turn would have done if Wooloo were out on the field or whatever, it would have been easily mitigated. Plus, there's stuff like Spiky Shield that we have to consider. There's Rough Skin that we have to consider. Yeah, so for what that's worth, I don't think U-Turn was all that useful on Pidgeot this time. Hurricane does a lot. Heatwave does a lot. Hidden Power Ice does a lot. So that's really all we need to be concerned about with this, per se. Defog is there just in case. I don't know if I'm going to be defogging all that much. But Rocks for us is pretty good here. Just because Rotom Ice is going to be taking a lot of entry hazard damage if it needs to. It's a nice little way to whittle down some of the walls like Togekiss. Even Alolan Marowak could be a problem. And the same thing goes, like, I can see 2 things being sashed on this team, namely the Heliolisk or the Ambipom. I don't know if that will in fact happen. I feel like Heliolisk has some other benefits besides Scarf, and Ambipom, or not Scarf, Sash, and Ambipom, could be. So that's our Pidgeot. That's what we're bringing. Blissey, the mystical elf, is here. We got Grassy Seed Blissey. I'm a jerk. So we got Grassy Seed Blissey, which is amazing, and I love it. We got Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, Stealth Rock, and Soft Boiled. So our team, like, it's going to be bulky and offensive. Like, that's kind of what we're going for here. Blissey could switch out if it needs to. Grassy Seed is pretty much there to handle the Garchomp, for the most part, if it has to. Because, it doesn't really have anything that can hit the Garchomp very well, so having a little extra defense is very, very nice. But mainly we're here to hit things like the Scizor, That's what they're for. The Scizor, sorry. It's been a while since I built this team. And then we also have Shadow Ball for the Aluminum Marowak. So Blissey is kind of our switch into a Mega Scizor or an Aluminum Marowak. Side note, Shadow Ball also can hit Slowbro, which is kind of nice. So that's why that's there. We got Blissey for that. I honestly think the Togekiss is the most important thing on Southampton's team. I really, really do. So this, while we don't have anything to offensively hit the Bliss or the Togekiss all that much, we do have rocks. So getting rocks up initially is going to be really, really handy because there is defog potential, but there's no rapid spin that I can see off the top of my head. And I don't think there is. So if they want to get rid of the hazards, they're going to have to defog, which means they're going to have to get rid of their own. So the sooner I can get mine up, the better. Because it's going to deter them from setting up their own if, having hazards up on their side is a problem. And it is snowing outside right now. It is March. Well, I guess it's not that uncommon, but either way. Bulu! Bulu's here. We are Jolly Choice Band because we want to hit things really hard. That's the entire thought process that I had here. I want to punch stuff. So we got Woodhammer, Horn Leech, Zen Headbutt, and Superpower. Zen Headbutt is honestly just there for the Chestnut. Like, literally it. Superpower because it will hit Mega Scizor harder than Horn Leech, I guess. And then Woodhammer, like Woodhammer's pretty much the play. Woodhammer's pretty much the play. You might think that, Woodhammer versus Zen Headbutt against the Togekiss, Zen Headbutt will win. No. Depending on the spread, it does not. It's relatively doing about the same, so. In terrain, it's going to be pretty bopping. So Bulu's just here to hit stuff really hard. I decided to go choice. Like, I couldn't really decide on an item for Bulu this time around, and so I ultimately just decided to go with like the choice band because honestly, what am I hitting more often than not? Woodhammer or Superpower. That's pretty much what I'm going for. Zen, like, we don't really want to be in against a Chestnut. Zen Headbutt's, it could miss too, so that's kind of a last resort move. I didn't really think that anything else would be all that necessary. Like, we maybe could have done like Rock Slide or something like that, but it is what it is. So we're going with that. We're gonna punch stuff pretty hard, and it's gonna be all kinds of fun. Plus, we want to set up terrain for Blissey. So. Cuddles is our Manitan this here. He's got U-Turn, Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, and Earthquake, and he used Choice Scarf this week. We tried some Ground EMZ shenanigans last week. It was not fun. It was not fun. We just missed a KO. So we're gonna try Scarf again this week. See how that feels. Flare Blitz does a lot. Like even the Garchomp. Flare Blitz is gonna do a lot. Togekiss, it's going to hit it pretty hard, especially if we need to use like Rock Slide or something. Flare Blitz is pretty much the answer here. Like, Flare Blitz is pretty much the answer here. Pretty much the answer. Everything except like Slowbro does not want to take a Flare Blitz. And I guess if Garchomp is like super bulky, then maybe Garchomp. But yeah, we pick it up pretty handedly for most times we pick it up pretty handedly, and everything that doesn't want to take a Flare Blitz, guess what? We have Raigeki, Beginning Z, Raigeki specifically, and even stuff that doesn't want to take a Flare Blitz also doesn't want to take a Savage Spin Out. So I'm talking about stuff like Garchomp, the Skuntank, the Slowbro, the Chestnut. Chestnut doesn't even want to really deal with it that much. We also have Roost on it, so we got Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Bug Buzz, and Roost. Vikavolt kind of gonna force some switches, I feel like, and so rather than run like a random hidden power or something like that, like I figured having a Roost would be a little more helpful. This one can take bullet punches. This one can take a Rock Slide. So having Roost on, I think, is pretty beneficial. Plus, for one turn at least, we'll get the... what are you doing back there, Joes? she's itchy. It's dry here. It's very dry in Virginia right now. So yeah, having Roost on it, so loud. I feel like it's more more beneficial. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So Roost, I don't know. I was kind of up in the air about Roost, honestly, but I feel like most of the time we're clicking, like, there's not really a good switch into Bug Buzz, honestly, except Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak kind of bops us, but again, that's why we have the Blissey with Grassy Seed, so we're pretty set there. Space Duck in space. Cresseli's back, but we have Psychic, Calm Mind, Ice Beam, and Substitute this time. So Cress is pretty much our switch into a Chestnut or a Garchomp. Or, even a Togekiss to an extent. I don't really want to come in on the Togekiss. Like, I'd rather just outright bop the Togekiss. But this is kind of our best bet. So, ideally, they're in a no-win situation against the Cresselia. We get a Substitute up because, we take a bunch of hits or we force a switch or something like that. And then we just kind of start Calm Minding. As long as the Slowbro is gone, as long as the Scizor is gone, we're relatively okay here. There's a couple things that have to be not in play or possibly in play, and Calm Mind Crest can kind of sweep here. So I'm feeling pretty okay about it for the most part. Crest is I'm gonna start leaning away from Crest, I think, a little bit, just a little bit. It's a fundamental part of the team, don't get me wrong. Koko Puff's lineup is nothing without Cresselia. However, I think maybe people are going to start expecting Crest stuff, and so I want to keep people on their toes. So we're going to bring Crest this time. Like I said, it's a very offensive team for the most part. It's a very offensive team. It might look like this gross stalliness, but we're not running any kind of stall. I don't care what anybody says. So we got offensive walls here that we're going to be rocking. I'm going very offensive this time. I played very passive 2 weeks back. Last week, there was some unfortunate happenings. But ultimately, I feel like the last 2 times I played a little passively, and so I'm gonna play a little more aggressively, see how that pans out. So there we go. We got the Koko Puffs back for week 6, I think it is at this point. Yeah, week 6. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you're hype for some more Koko Puffs action. I'm gonna try and bring it back here. Fingers crossed. And as always, I'm Blue, and I will catch you next time with an all-new video of some kind, or possibly tomorrow, with the Week 6 battle against the Southampton Sharpedos.